let's make some monsters to give the player some excitement and tension while playing the game. For us, we'll create this green mushroom, which dies when the player steps on their head. And basically, MSW has a trigger component which provides collision function, so it won't be difficult to make them. First, let's add a monster here right now from the monster list. Find this green mushroom, the angry one, to place it. Okay, and then you add the property here, trigger component. Then let's create a head monster component here. Head monster component. Create a new component here. For me, I already have it here. Anyway, after you've done creating, you have to add it to our monster entity as well, head monster here. And then let's go to the scripting part. So after doing that, we're going to add a trigger enter event to our entity event handler inside this head monster component by clicking this plus button. Trigger enter event here. Then we're going to write the scripts according to the event you want when the player bump into the monster. Oh, I'm going to explain what the codes are describing and what will happen to the player when it jumps on them. So in the first line, this trigger body entity is the entity which the green mushroom bumps into. So for now, it will be the player, right? And this position Y here, minus is 0.2. So this position here is this part right here, this position right here, where the monster stands, the Y position of our entity. So right now it's 1.435 here, you can see, right? 1.4310, yeah. So from that part, from the head, we're going to minus 0.2. This is because I'm just going to give some space here. This is defining the area where the player must jump on. So it's somewhere around this area. And after that, this is a sound service. So a sound effect when the mushroom dies. You can listen it from here, here. And then this line of code is to define the look direction of the monsters while they are moving back and forth. So when they're like moving to their left, they'll be looking on their left side. When they're moving on their right, they'll be looking on their right. If they just look on one side, it's a bit weird, you know. That's why we're doing this. And this tween logic part is used to show how these monsters like squeeze in when they die. So if you don't do this, it'll be weird because they just suddenly disappear. So we have to wait them for a while. It shrinks for around 0.25 seconds. And lastly, we're going to delete the monster. So now they can disappear. It's not weird anymore. So this part here was doing that. The second part here is the logic to make the player die. This time the player die when it fails on jumping on the monster. If it touches like the body part here, the player has to die. So these are the logic, so you can just type the same thing here. And then there's one more thing left that we have to do with monsters. Monsters, they have to revive after the stage is cleared, right? So we're also going to give monster the tags like we did for the coin by using a tag component. We have to add here tag component, and we're going to add monster right here. one, type monster. After that, in our player component, we'll have to add this lines of code. And then we're going to add this to our default player. So before doing that, let's look at our onMapEnter function. In this function, this will make the monsters revive in every round. It's the same as coin. So this entity service, get entities by tag, calls all the entities with a monster tag. And this for loop here will activate all entities saved in the local monster. And this part here you can ignore because this is a dead event which activates whenever the player dies. So here you're trying to make the monster revive every time the player dies. But now you don't have to do this. Don't worry about it. Just type in this part here. After you're done, just to make sure, in our default player, you need to add this player component as well to make this happen. Yeah. So add component here, player component. Okay. And now you're done with the monsters too. You can actually create this monster into a model like this. I have it here. So with all those properties we've set in like head monster and stuff, you don't have to do it all over again, but you can just use this monster to, do that. Well, let's see if it really works. Here, I'm going to put this monster right there and then play the game. Okay, so let's go to our monsters. Sorry, I'm not good at controlling. Here, see? This is shrinking and disappearing. Oh, I mean, I'm dead. Anyway, it's hard to show you because I made the map a bit difficult here. But yeah, so this is how you get killed or you kill the monster. So basically, we're done with monsters. So let's move on.